Well, lots of people get their first job while they're still in high school, but very few of them turn that job into an international franchise. Watch this.
Brig Sorber and his younger brother John started a moving company, loading everything into their old 1967 pickup truck. They called their business 2 Men and a Truck. Their mom, Mary Ellen, designed the Stickmen logo that began to appear on trucks all over Lansing, Michigan. And it wasn't long until Brig and John's high school job turned into an international franchise.
Please welcome to the 700 Club the president and CEO of 2 Men and a Truck International, Brig Sorber. Brig, it's great to have you
Carrie,
with us.
thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Tell me about the name. First, I'm in Virginia here. You don't have a franchise here, but I'm from Wisconsin, and I've seen that truck and wondered, who are those two guys?
Well, maybe the name should have been 2 little boys in a little truck when we first started, but it was just what it was, 2 men in a truck. It was my brother and I starting out with a pickup truck, and we moved anything that we could fit in the back of that truck, and then we moved up into a bigger truck from there.
Did you have, when you started it, I mean, you were really starting it as a job to make a little extra money for yourselves as students, but did you have the concept of expanding and turning this into something huge?
Oh, absolutely not. I would love to take credit for that, but we were working. The customers loved us. They kept calling back. And really, Mary Ellen, our mother, came aboard, and I think she had a little bit more vision than we did.
Yeah.
And so she was the one that came up with the logo.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired that logo. She had a great background in some marketing and things like that, things that probably at that time you guys didn't have, right?
Well, she was a systems analyst with the state, so she really took care of the numbers, and she was always looking at the numbers of the business. She drew our logo on a napkin, a cartoon truck with us boys as the Stickmen in it, more as a joke. Which turned out to be our international, or our national logo, which is registered.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
But it works well with the title, too. You know, it's just so friendly and user-friendly. People aren't intimidated by it at all. Talk a little bit about your mom and your sister, because both of them, strong businesswomen, both of them have had a really significant role in the growth of your company.
Oh, there's no question. Mary Ellen, from the beginning, would give back to the community. Our first $1,000 that we actually cleared, she broke that up into 10 separate checks and gave those 10 checks to just area charities. Unbelievable what came back from that. And so that's where our tagline, Movers Who Care, came from, what was from that. Melanie has an extensive marketing background, came from pharmaceuticals, and really put the gas to the business up until a few years ago, running the day-to-day. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Melanie or Mary Ellen.
Well, the company has grown incredibly over the years, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But first, I want to talk about how God has used the success that the company brought and the emptiness that it left inside of you to change your life. Tell me about that.
Well, it's amazing. If you look at people's testimonies, and they're so interesting, everyone's, and God makes them special for everyone. Most testimonies come from maybe it's a loss of a job or a divorce or a health issue, a death.
Something negative.
Right.
Yeah.
Mine God worked with me inside out. I worked very hard. I maybe had some self-esteem issues, so if anything ever happened in my life, I'd blame myself and just work harder and harder. Also, always looking for validation from people, and success of the business made me who I was. And the way God worked with me is He said, you know what? Let's give him everything. Let's give him absolutely everything that he wants, and let's see where it takes him.
And what happened?
Well, you have to keep in mind that my wife and I, Francine, who is a strong Christian woman who has been trying to help me all along, we started out in a $15,000 house. Not a $50,000 house, a $15,000 house. And, but as the business grew, my success grew. And I felt very good about that. And where it led me was to a new home, a brick home with a swimming pool and nice cars and all the accolades and validation. Heck, we were on the Oprah Winfrey Show, for crying out loud. So everything was going really good. I was sitting by my swimming pool. It's freshly cleaned. My yard was mowed. And I bought a bottle of Johnny Walker Red because I thought that was the sophisticated drink of a businessman. And I had a cigar, and I poured that on the rocks, and I took one sip, and it was like gas. I spit it out, and I thought, well, I'll drink Shirley Temples. It doesn't matter. I made it. And That's when God really started working. It was the very next day, just the hollow feeling that I had.
Yeah. You know, for a lot of people, I think when they have been successful in business, their self-esteem is connected to the success that they've had. What would you say to people like that? Because there is an emptiness
It is.
in that, Brig.
An absolute emptiness. I looked at myself and thought, why do I have this? It must be my own fault. And my family was great. My wife, Francine, was great. The franchise system was growing incredibly. My health was good. And I just realized through some Christians that I knew at work, I started to get my nose into the Bible and started to realize that you are on a treadmill. You will never, ever find success through earthly desires. And what I realized was that I was validated from the beginning. God knitted me in my mother's womb. I did not decide to invent myself. I was brought here for a purpose. And Christ validated my existence by dying on the cross. It freed me up. It let me out of a cage and allowed me to live my life completely different.
I think it gives you the kind of freedom you're talking about of not having to perform for some kind of substance in your life, but also, doesn't it give you a passion for things that you didn't have before?
It does. It opened up the business. I pray every morning about the business. I gave what I do the business to God. I gave myself to God. It is such a free feeling to walk into work in the morning and say, God, what are we going to do in your moving business today? Yeah. Where do you want me to work today? And to watch the resources come in and from people and different businesses, and it's just an amazing thing. There's a lot of people that could be sitting running this company that are probably better qualified than me, but God uses tools like me to get some of these things done.
And today, your company is an international company. I mean, you're not just across the United States. How many franchises do you have in America?
We have 200 locations across the U.S.
Wow.
We're in 32 states. We have locations in Canada, the UK, and Ireland.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing story of success, but more significantly, an amazing story of spiritual growth and realization. That's awesome. Well, it's great to have you here. It's great to finally know who's behind those trucks. This is one of the two guys. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much
for being here.
Thank you.
God bless you.